All right, so today we're going to take a deep dive into something pretty interesting.
Mm.
The tradition of something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue.
Ah,
It's a
yes.
classic wedding tradition, and you've sent over some really fascinating articles about this, and even a snippet from a bridal shop blog.
Oh, wow. They're
So
great.
it's clear you want to go beyond just like the surface level explanations.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting that this rhyme is Victorian era,
Yeah.
but it's still so popular today,
Yeah,
It makes you wonder why.
totally. And we can't forget that last line, you
Yeah.
know, and the silver sixpence in her shoe.
Oh, right. Yes.
Okay,
So-
so let's unpack all of this.
Okay.
Starting with something old.
Right.
It's not just about like grabbing any old antique, right?
Right.
There's a real emphasis on family connection.
I think what's really interesting about something old is it's
Yeah.
not even just about the heirloom itself.
Yeah.
It kind of taps into the psychology of transitions.
Oh.
Like weddings are a huge life change.
Yeah.
And research shows that familiar objects and rituals can actually provide comfort
Okay.
and a sense of continuity during those times.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
So it's like you're carrying a piece of your history into this new chapter.
exactly.
I really loved that detail from the blog post about brides who actually like sew fabric from a grandmother's wedding dress
Oh, wow.
into their own gown.
Yeah.
Such a tangible link to the past.
It's not just the object, but
Yeah,
the stories and emotions that are tied to it.
totally.
It's really special.
I even read an article about a bride who wore a locket that had a picture of her great-grandmother in it. And she had immigrated to America
Wow.
as a young bride, and that tiny locket
Hmm.
became this symbol of courage and resilience,
Oh, wow.
which she wanted to carry into her own marriage.
That's beautiful.
So something old is very much grounded in the past.
Yes.
But then you have something new,
Right.
which is all about looking ahead.
Yeah, with the optimism for the future.
It's that fresh start feeling.
Exactly.
But it's not limited to just the wedding dress, is it?
Oh, no, not at all.
Mm.
It can be anything that represents the bride's hopes and dreams for the future.
Mhm.
I once read about a bride who wore a brand new pair of hiking boots under her gown
Oh, wow.
because she wanted to symbolize her adventurous spirit
What a cool idea.
and her partner's desire to explore the world together.
I love that.
Yeah,
It really emphasizes that it's a personal choice.
absolutely.
Speaking of personal connections,
Yeah.
what about something borrowed?
Oh, yeah.
This one always makes me think about like borrowing luck
Mhm.
from a happily married friend or family member.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
While some people might see it as purely symbolic,
Yeah.
there could be a psychological benefit, It's
Yeah.
a feeling connected to someone else's happiness,
Right.
like drawing strength and inspiration from their successful relationship.
That's an interesting perspective. Yeah. And it makes those common examples like,
Mhm.
borrowing a veil or a bracelet
Right.
even more meaningful.
Yeah.
It's not just about the item itself.
Exactly.
It's about the bond it represents and the good wishes.
It's that tangible way of saying,
Yeah.
we're surrounding you with good energy and support
Yeah,
as you embark on this new journey.
totally. And that brings us to
Yes.
something blue.
Something blue.
Maybe the most visually striking element of this whole tradition.
I think so.
It definitely stands out.
Yeah.
I was surprised by how much meaning is behind the color blue.
Oh, really?
I always knew it represented purity,
Mm-hmm.
but I had no idea its symbolism went back centuries
Quite fascinating.
and spanned different cultures.
Yeah, like in ancient Rome, brides wore blue
Wow.
to symbolize love, modesty, and fidelity.
Mm.
And in many cultures, blue is associated with the divine,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
like heaven and spiritual awareness.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
So it's not just about like adding a pop of color.
Right.
It's about invoking all of these
Think
like historical and cultural
associations.
yeah. And brides find such creative ways to incorporate it.
They do.
Like I've seen everything from a subtle blue,
Mm-hmm.
like nail polish,
Yes.
to a blue ribbon on the hanger.
Oh, yeah, like the blog post mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To like a prominent blue sash
Mm-hmm.
or even a light blue wedding gown.
Yeah, there's so many ways to do it.
I remember seeing a photo of a bride who had embroidered a tiny blue bird on her veil,
Oh,
a symbol of happiness and hope for the future.
that's beautiful.
It was just so
Yeah.
personal and beautiful.
It's amazing how each bride kind of infuses something blue with her own style and meaning.
Totally. But we can't forget about that last line,
Right.
that often overlooked last line.
Yes.
And a sixpence in her shoe.
A sixpence in her shoe.
This always feels kind of mysterious.
Yeah.
Tell us more about this sixpence.
Okay.
What's the significance there? We've been talking about the symbolism behind each of the somethings. And it's clear there's a lot more to this rhyme than meets the eye.
Oh, for sure.
But what's really interesting is how these traditions can evolve and adapt across different cultures.
Yeah. One of the articles you shared talked about how in some Chinese cultures, red is the color that's associated with good luck and prosperity.
Right.
So some brides will incorporate a something red along with the traditional element.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of how some Irish brides carry a horseshoe for good luck.
Oh, yeah.
So even though the rhyme originated in England,
Right.
it's cool to see how those core themes resonate globally
Yeah.
and can be personalized
Absolutely.
to reflect different cultural beliefs.
It's not just about adding elements,
right.
but the significance behind the choices.
Yeah.
Like family heirlooms, they go beyond jewelry in many cultures. A bride might wear a shawl that belonged to her grandmother or a headpiece that's been passed down for generations.
It's like these objects become like tangible representations of their heritage and family history.
Exactly.
It's so much more than just following a tradition.
Right.
It's about infusing it with personal meaning.
You know, that point really resonated with me when I was reading that bridal shop blog post. The author talked about how the emotional aspect of choosing these somethings is just as important as the symbolism itself.
Yes. It wasn't just about checking things off a list.
Right.
It was about selecting objects that evoke powerful memories and emotions.
Exactly.
I remember one story about a bride who wore her late mother's pearl earrings.
Oh.
And they weren't the most valuable piece, but they held so much sentimental value for her.
It's incredible how objects can become almost like talismans.
Yeah.
Imbued with the love and memories of those who wore them before.
Right.
I think that's what gives this tradition its staying power. It taps into something universal.
Totally.
The desire to honor our past, embrace the future, and surround ourselves with love on such a significant occasion.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that weddings are about starting a new chapter, but also about acknowledging the people and experiences that have shaped us.
Exactly. And it makes me wonder, what about you, dear listener?
Yes.
As we've been discussing these traditions, what thoughts or questions have been coming up for you?
What resonates most with you about these somethings?
Yeah.
What personal connections or interpretations have you made?
Yeah, we'd love to hear your perspective on all of this. You know, thinking about all these different interpretations makes me wonder about the broader role of tradition in our lives. Do traditions like something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue simply offer us a sense of comfort and familiarity during times of change?
Or do they serve a deeper purpose?
Right.
Connecting us to something larger than ourselves?
Perhaps it's a bit of both.
Yeah.
Maybe they provide a sense of continuity, like a thread connecting us to generations past.
I like that imagery.
Yeah.
It's like they offer a framework, a guide for navigating life's transitions.
Right.
Especially significant ones like marriage.
And even though we adapt and personalize these traditions, we're still participating in a ritual that's been shared by countless couples throughout history. There's something quite powerful about that connection.
Absolutely. It creates a sense of belonging.
Yeah.
A feeling that we're part of something larger than ourselves. And, you know, in a world that can sometimes feel fragmented and uncertain, that sense of connection can be incredibly comforting.
It's like a shared language.
Yeah.
A way of communicating hopes and dreams across generations.
I like that.
But as we continue this deep dive, what new thoughts are emerging for you, dear listener?
What aspects of this tradition intrigue you the most? What personal interpretations have you made as we've explored these different layers of meaning? As we've been talking about how something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue connects us to something larger than ourselves. And it's fascinating how a simple rhyme has become so deeply ingrained in our culture.
It really is.
Like those words instantly evoke weddings, even for people who might not even know what each element means.
Right, like they may not know the specifics, But
they know
it's
it's
wedding.
It's a wedding thing.
It's like cultural shorthand for tradition.
Yeah, exactly.
And it makes me think about how the rhyme itself
Mm-hmm.
contributes to its longevity.
Yeah.
You know, it's so easy to remember.
It's catchy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like it was designed to be passed down through generations.
Like a mnemonic device to help people remember and share these traditions.
You know, one of the things that struck me
Yeah.
when I was reading through the sources
Was how this tradition isn't just about the bride.
Right. It's not just bride-centric.
It extends outward
It does.
to the whole wedding party,
Yeah.
families, and even like the broader community.
Like, think about something borrowed.
Yeah.
That act of borrowing from a happily married friend or family member
Right.
really reinforces those bonds
Yeah.
and strengthens that sense of shared support.
It's like everyone's contributing their well wishes and positive energy,
Exactly.
which is such a powerful sentiment,
Mm-hmm.
especially on such a big day.
Speaking of powerful sentiments, I'm curious.
Yeah.
What's resonating with you, dear listener?
What are your takeaways from our exploration of this tradition?
Yeah. Have you gained a new appreciation for the power of symbolism
Yeah.
and how small objects can carry deep meaning?
Or maybe you're feeling inspired to
Yeah.
dig into your own family history. Uncover those traditions that have shaped your own life.
Whatever your personal reflections,
Yeah.
we hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity.
And giving you some new insights into something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue.
We've explored the historical roots,
Symbolism.
the cultural adaptations, and even the psychology behind it all.
As we wrap up,
Yeah.
we want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
In a world that's constantly changing,
Mm-hmm.
how do we honor these traditions
Right.
while still allowing them to evolve?
How do we personalize these rituals to reflect our own individual values and beliefs?
But still acknowledging the wisdom of those who came before us.
It's a question that goes way beyond wedding traditions
Yeah.
and speaks to the bigger picture, like navigating life and finding meaning in the connections that bind us.
So as you reflect on this tradition,
Yeah.
we encourage you to think about what resonates most deeply with you.
And how you might weave your own personal stories and values into the tapestry of traditions that shape our lives.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Until next time.
Keep exploring
Keep questioning.
and keep seeking those aha moments.
We'll see you next time.